Okay, good morning, students. So today we can start with the third statement of object, that is a callable statement. So the previous class we can see that what is the statement of object and how the statement of object execute a query immediately. And the second is the prepared statement. We can call it as a P statement. And then how to use to execute the prepared statement by using the compiled or a pre-compiled query. So today we can start with a callable statement which is used to execute a stored procedure. So today we can see that what is the stored procedure in the callable statement. So callable statement object is used to call stored procedure. It is from within the J2EE object. Then what is stored procedure? So stored procedure means it is a block of code and we can identify by the unique name. So that is, we can call it as a stored procedure. So what is callable statement? A callable statement object is used to call the stored procedure from within the J2EE components of an object, and it is a block of code and to identify by a unique name. So this is, we can call it as a stored procedure. So when you're using the stored procedure, so we can mention what type of data and what type of style of the code. So depends on the database management system vendor, and we can write, it may be a PL/SQL. What is PL/SQL? That is a programming language SQL, or it may be a transact SQL, C, or any other programming language. We can write the stored procedure. So when you go for the callable statement, there is a three of parameter we can using. One is the in, second is then out, and the third one is in out. So these are the three important parameter we are used by the callable statement object. We can call to a stored procedure. So in the callable statement object, we can call to the stored procedure in the three parameter. So which one? In, out, and in out parameters. So we can go by one, what is in parameter and what is out parameter and what is in out parameter. So first one, that is the in parameter. So it contains any of data that we need to pass to the store procedure, and we can assigning that value is assigned by using the setXX method. So in that case, we have to pass the value by in parameter instead of using setXX method. So this is by using in parameter contents. In the second one, we can see that is an out parameter. So what is out parameter? So automatically out parameter means we have to retrieve the values and to display on the monitor. So the out parameter contains the value written by the store procedure. So we are using in the in parameter, we can pass the value and assign to by using the setXX method. So when you return the value by store procedure by using the out parameter, so the out parameter must register by using the register out parameter method. So this is very important. When you retrieve the value from the stored procedure, you must register by using the register out parameter method of out parameter. And later we can retrieve by using the getXX method. So this is by using the out parameter. And the third one, the in out parameter. So it is a single parameter we can use to pass the information. It is only one content of value can pass into the store procedure and retrieve the information. So this is, we can call it as an in, out parameters. So these are the three types of parameter we are using in the callable statement. So there is a summary I can telling. So what is callable statement? It is used to call the stored procedure. Then what is stored procedure? It is a set of code we can identify by the unique name. So this, whenever you can using the stored procedure, whatever the type of data and the style of the code will be depends on whatever you using the database management system vendor, or you can written in PLSQL or Transact SQL or C or any other programming language. In the callable statement, there is a three types of parameter we can passing to access or retrieve the information from the stored procedure, that is then in parameter, out parameter, and in out parameter. So in out parameter, we can pass the value in the stored procedure so that the value is assigned to the using by set XX method. The second one is an out parameter. We have to retrieve the values from the stored procedure by using the register out parameter method and retrieve the value by using the get XX. So the third one is the in out parameter. It is a single value. Of the single value of the parameter, we can pass the information to the stored procedure and retrieve the information. So these are the three types of parameter in the callable statement. So we can see that there is an example how the callable statement we are using in our statement. So connection, we can call it as an DB. I can using the try catch statement. So in the try catch statement, suppose it can connection is not established and directly go to the exception of E. Suppose in case if the connection is rectified by using the string query equal to within the double quotes of the flower bracket, you should write down the callable last order number. So we can using the question mark because we have to assigning the value. So this is we can call it as a prepared statement, that is a P statement. So then we can using the callable statement and then we are using the C statement. The callable statement is nothing but an C statement equal to DB is a connection and dot prepared call of query. So this is we can prepare by using the query statement. Then C statement is nothing but an callable statement. So we have to register by using the dot register out parameter for the out parameter, and we can sending there are the two types of string value. So which one? 1 comma types dot where char. So here we can see that. So this is a two parameters. First is an integer and representing the number of parameter. One means the first parameter are stored procedure, and the second is the which type of data type we are to store in the stored procedure. So here we can using the where character of the data type we can sending to the stored procedure, and we can execute the callable statement, that is a C statement dot execute, and we can assigning in out parameter in a single value. So the string last order number is equal to callable statement dot get a string of 1. So there is a single parameter we can pass to get the information from the stored procedure by using callable statement dot get a string of 1, then close the callable value, and the close statement dot close. Suppose in case if you as an error will occur, we can go to the exception handling. So this is an example. So we can see that. So that is a callable statement containing the three parameters. So then we can move to the that is interactive SQL tools. So interactive SQL is nothing but a DBI SQL, nothing a database interactive SQL we can call it as, and generally So interactive SQL is nothing but an DBI SQL. So is a utility for entering the SQL statement. Means, so we have to using some of the utilities, or it may be a properties, or it may be a functions, or anything for entering in the SQL statement. If you using a interactive SQL to work with our database schema, so first we have to execute the SQL statement at one at a time, and we can build up with this set of commands. So we can build the set of commands by using DBI SQL command file. So later we can execute this file in the DBI SQL, so we can build the database. So this is by using the interactive SQL tools. So what is the definition? So when you definition of this database object from the database schema, so we have to think the first database should be a empty database, and we can using the SQL statement for creating the new values, or we can modify the values of this database schema. So we can call it by using the DDL language, nothing but an data definition language. So when the DDL we can use it, so it can be using only a one user at a time. We can perform the DDL statement on the table. So this is, so we have to using the interactive SQL tool. So some of the commands, how the interactive SQL command file will be using. So an interactive SQL command file is a text file, and with the semicolon is placed at the end of the command as shown in the below. So I can create a table. The table name is a T1. I can insert some of the parameter and the end with the semicolon. Second one, create a table T2 and end with the semicolon. Then I have to create a LF. LF is the name of the index I2 on T2. T2 is a table 2. Index I of 2. So how will be written? An interactive SQL command file you can usually carries with the extension of .sql. So what is the extension of DBI SQL? Is a .sql. So when we can execute this command file, or we can just paste the content of the file into the interactive file command window, or we can enter the command, whatever the read file into the command window, I can just using by the read statement. So when you using the command file, paste the content. So it is not more than, greater than, it is not less than 500 lines. So how the command will be read? So by using the statement read make db. So when you're using this command in the SQL, interactive SQL, that is a read the interactive SQL command in the file of make db.sql. So this is by we can reading the SQL command file in the form of text file. We have to read by using the make db.sql. So this is, we can call it as an interactive SQL tools. So then we can move to the JDBC in action result set. So what are the action? So it may be a reading the result set, and second one is a scrollable result set, update, delete, insert, and the transaction process. So these are the result set of JDBC action set. So the result set object, it contains the method that are used to copy the data. So when you're using the result set of an object, we can copy the data from the result set into any of the Java application or any of the Java collection object or it may be a variable for using the further processing. So this is the first we know that what is the result set of an object. So the result set object, we can copy the data from the result set into any of the Java application or any Java collection of object or variable for using the further processing. The first, so when you copy the data from the result set, the data in the result set is logically organized in the virtual table and consists of the rows and column. So it means that when you're coming from the copy of the data from the result set, it should be a virtual table containing the rows and column. That is the first point. The second point, when you're using the result set, so the user a virtual cursor to the point to the row of the virtual table, so that the first line, first row of the column, the virtual cursor is pointed to the result set. And the third one, the virtual cursor is positioned above the first row of the data, then the first result set is written by the execute the query. So that means that when you copy the data from the result set, it can be stored in the virtual table, that is it containing the rows and column. So the virtual cursor always will point to the first row of the column of the virtual table. So it means that the virtual cursor is positioned above the first table of the row, the data when the result set is written by the query of the execute. It means that the virtual cursor must be moved in the first row using the next method. Suppose in case I have go for the next row by using the next method. So later we can all the whatever the virtual table containing the data in the rows and column. So all the query will be executed by one by using the next method. So when you're using the next method, it returns the Boolean value. Either it is a true or false. Suppose in case, if the value is true means if the row containing the data. Suppose in case the next method, it is false that there is no data in the virtual table. So once the virtual cursor points to the row, so how we can get the information by using the getXX method, we can use to copy the data from the row of collection, or it may be object, or it may be a variable. So this is by using the result set action, how the work process by using the JDBC in action result set. And this is an example how the virtual data rows and column we can access. So that by using result set of the variable is the results, I can using string first name, last name, and print out row. And either by using the result set by using the Boolean value, that is the records is equal to result dot next, because so this result dot next we can go one by one accessing the data in the rows and column. So I can check whether if the records is there, then directly go to the while of the result dot next. Suppose in case if the record is a null, it means that there is no data record in that particular virtual table. So if the record, it is not present in the data, you can directly write the system.out.println of no data is written and written. Suppose in case if the record is there, then you can using else while the result dot next, the first name of the string one get string, the last name result dot get string up to. Then I have to printing the first name and the last name, and should be displayed on the monitor by using the print row. So this is by using the result set for reading the data in the virtual table of the database. Understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, we can go by the scoreable result set. So what do you mean by scoreable result set? So in the JDBC 2.1 version and API, it is the application programming interface. So we have to using the a virtual cursor. So we can move the backwards or whatever the position at the specific row. So it means that, so we can go for the backward also, or we can setting the position at the specific row. So there are the 6 methods are there for result set object. They we can call it as a first, last, previous, absolute, retrieve, and get row. So these are the 6 method of using scrollable result set. So you can go by one. What is the first method? The first method, we can move the virtual cursor to the first row of the result set. So this is the first method. It means that the virtual cursor moves the first row of the result set. And the same time, last method is the position of the virtual cursor at the last row in the result set. In the previous method, the cursor will move the virtual cursor to the previous row. And the absolute method means the position the virtual cursor, you can specify the row whatever the user can specify by using the integer value, then can be passed to the method. That is the actual position of the table of the data. The retrieve method means we can move the virtual cursor, the specified number of rows, contained in the parameter. So it means that it is by using the relative method. The last one is get row method. So the parameter can be it may be a positive or it may be a negative. Suppose in case if you specify the absolute value of the whatever you specified in the row, the integer value, it may be a positive or it may be a negative. Okay. And the last one is that is a get row method. It returns the integer value and that can be represented the number of current row in the result set. So this is the 6 type of method we are using the scrollable method statement. And how to handle the scrollable result set? So it contains the value is passed the statement object, whatever you created by using the create statement. So there are 3 type of constant value in the scrollable result set. So you should write the type forward only, type scroll intensity, and the type scroll sensitive. So these are the 3 constant method we have to using to pass the constant value in the statement object. And the type of forward only, it contains the restrict the virtual cursor to downwards the movement default string. So when you're using the forward only, means the virtual cursor, it move to the downward movement. The other 2, that is the score sensitive and intensive, these are the 2 allow the cursor to move in the both the direction. So it may be upward direction or it may be a downward direction by using the type scroll insensitive and the type scroll sensitive. But when you using the type forward only, it is restrict only the cursor will move in the downward movement only. That is the default setting. So these are the 3 constant to handle the scrollable result set to sending the constant value placed in the statement object. So this is, we can call it as a scrollable result set. Understood?
Yes, sir. sir.
Okay. So next, that is an updatable result set. Means we have to update the data. It may be a row or it may be anything. We can insert to update the data. So next, that is the rows containing the result set. It can be updatable. So it is very similar to how the row of the table can be updated. So it is possible by passing the, so how the table can be updated by using the create statement method of the connection of object, the concurrent updatable. It may be a read or it may be update. So when you're using the concurrent read only means it is a constant value passed to the create statement method, and we can prevent the result set for being updated. Means I have to sending the read only constant value and pass to create the statement method. There are three ways in which the result set can be changed. So what is the three ways? So these are updating the values in row. So when you inserting the row, the existing table will be changed. But deleting a row, it means that the existing table may be changed. And we have to inserting the new row. It means that we have to increase the existing table, so the table may be changed. So these are the three ways we can change the result set of the table. And all these are accomplished by using the method by using the statement object. It means that which can use to execute the query immediately. So this is by using updatable result set. The next one, that is an update the result set. So once they execute the query of the statement object returns by using the result set. So we are using a method, call it as an update XX method, is used to change the value of the column in the current row of the result set. So what is the XXX in the update XX? Means that we have to replace with the data type of the column that is to be updated. So it means that we have to update the data type of the column by using the update XX. So the update XX requires two parameters. The first one is either by the number or name of the column of the result set, so that we have to be updated. The second one is then value, so that we can replace the value in the column of the result set. So you can see that when you're using the two parameter, the first one is the number or maybe name of the column. So we have to update the result set. And the second one is the value. So we can replace the value of the data of the column contained in the result set. So these are the two parameters of using update XX. And the delete the row. So delete means we have to remove the row from the result set. So the delete row is used to remove a row from result set. And the delete row is passed an integer that contain the number of row to be deleted. And the first use of absolute method to move the virtual cursor to the row in the result set, so that we can delete it. So the value of the row should examine by the program to assure it is the proper row before the row deleted is got. The delete row means we can pass the zero integer, indicates that the current row must be deleted. So how the row must be deleted by using the zero integer value can pass, that is the result dot delete row of 0. So this is by using the delete row in the result set. It means that we can remove the row from the result set. So how the remove from the row from the result set? By using the integer value. So that integer value must be a 0. So when you integer value 0 indicates that the current row must be deleted. How we are using? That is the results dot delete row of 0. So this is by using delete row in the result set. Then insert row in the result set means we can accomplish by using the basically the same techniques, means the update the result set. So how the insert by row using the result set? By using the update access, we can use to specify the column and value so that we can place in the column of the result set. So the insert row method is called after the, once the insert row method will be calling, so immediately after we can call to the update xx. It means that we have to insert the row in the result set because the new value of the row will be inserted into the result set. So this is by using the result row or insert the row in the result set. And the last one, that is the transaction process. So transaction process means it involves the several tasks. So how the task will be accomplished in the transaction process. A database transaction means it consists of a SQL statement. So more than one SQL statement, and each must be successfully completed for the transaction to be completed. If any one of the transaction SQL statement is fails, then the transaction must be rolled back. So the database transaction is not a completed until the J2E components of the call is commit method to connection the object. So elli tanka antandre, so we can using the commit method. Once the commit method is over, so the transaction is not completed until we are using the commit method. So then what is commit and rollback? So commit means to call to the commit and it will commit everything that was done since the lot commit was issued. Then what is rollback? It is called to the rollback. So we'll undo any changes since the last commit. Once the commit is over, the rollback will not work. So before that commit statement, so we can using the rollback in any time. So it means that we can change since the last commit. Okay. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 slide ಇದೆ. ಹಲೋ,
ಹಾ ಸರ್.
8 ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯಾರ್ದು? ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಯಾರ್ದು?
ಇದೇ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಸರ್, ಇದೇ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್.
ಹೌದಾ? ಹಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 10 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗಿ ಒಂದು 15 ನಿಮಿಷ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇದೆ.
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಓಕೆ.